Hello YouTube, how your mama, how your brothers, how your sisters, how your family, how your friends doing? How your sisters, how your mama, how your family, how your friends, how your cousins, how your sister, how your friends, how they been? I can't make up my mind if I want that to be it, my intro or the other one. We are here again with the legendary Kevin Levi Green.
You were so silly.
Formerly known as the choreographer. I don't know if we described him on the last video and did his whole spiel, but if you want to do it again, by all means, do you.
I am Kevin Levi Green. I'm the founder and artistic director of Techmoje Dance and Theater Company, a international touring theater and dance company based in Wilmington, North Carolina. I also was the choreographer for the first season of Our Kind of People for Fox. I also was the choreographer for the Lifetime movie Line Sisters. And I'm an educator, I'm a community organizer, and I'm a consultant and a mediator. I do a lot of things, but my main profession and what I'm known for is choreography and direction.
Mm-hmm. And he did show choir. He was a cheerleader in high school.
I ran track.
He ran track. He did a lot of things. I'm just giving you your flowers. That's it. But yeah, so here we are. And today we decided that a lot of people had a couple ideas about what we should talk about. And one of the top ideas they wanted us to talk about was a heavy subject, like, something that a political subject at that. And to be honest with you, I try to stay away from politics as much as I can. So we decided to talk about something else. So we're going to talk about friendships and relationships and how we feel about them, what's changed over the years, what we've learned since being children to adulthood now. In the last previous video, we let you know that we were cousins and we were family, but we were always really close as well.
Well, we were friends before we knew we were family. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. But we come from a place where everybody's related any damn way from us. But we did not know. We truthfully did not know. That didn't change anything really though, because we were already close. That bond was already built, so it didn't matter. But with that being said, we also have mutual friends of other people that we've built friendships with and different things. We also, between the both of us, I got friends he don't like, he got friends I don't like, and we just
keep it moving,
keep it pushing. So, how do you want to start this conversation?
Well, the thing I like about the fact that we both have that, we don't force them on each other, though. That's the other thing. So it's like, if I know I'm going to go and visit a friend that you don't like, and you're calling me, I'm not going to answer a FaceTime call while I'm sitting there with them because that just makes for...
And that's probably best because I'm one of them rude type of people that be like, why you at that bitch out?
That's right. But it also...
That shouldn't be like that.
And it leaves room for that, right? And so... for me, it wouldn't matter. If you were at the person's house or somebody's house that I didn't like...
Who don't you like to I'm friends with? I feel like that person is gone, so, I mean...
well...
We haven't had that discussion.
Just saying...
But we're about to have it.
Yes. I'm just saying that, even if you were, I don't have a problem still speaking to you or talking to you on the phone. I mean, it has nothing to do with it.
I don't either, really, truthfully speaking. I would enjoy talking to you while you're talking to somebody that don't like me or I don't like. Because at the end of the day, I feel like that's maturity. Mm-hmm. You might not be my best friend and I might not like you, but I'm only going to say something about, most of the time, if I don't like somebody that's your friend, because me and you are friends, it's because I don't see them treating you like a friend like you're treating them. That's usually what it comes from. It's not my personal feelings about them because I can get over it.
Now, there's also the situation where we have to define what a friend is.
Okay.
Because
that's what we should have started with.
Yeah. Because one of the things for me, I can count maybe on two hands, but it's looking like one. But maybe on two hands, real friends.
Okay. So
because there's friend. Okay, so you got friends. You got friends by association. And what do I mean by that? Friends that you may meet at work, friends that you may meet or whatever, right? But that's still they don't.
See, and let me say something. Because you said something that I feel very differently about already. You said friends you meet at work. I call them coworkers. I don't even call them friends.
Right. Well, I'm just saying.
But I just,
there's like one or two people that you end up really liking that you work with.
Right.
And sometimes you hang out outside of there.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I get it, but you know what? Now that you say it like that, I guess I would call them because there is a couple people that you work with that you actually be like, oh, I actually can hang out with you outside of work. So I guess you would still put them in a friend boat. So yeah, you're right.
But I don't count them
In your
as my friends. You see what I'm saying? So there's that difference.
I hear what you're saying.
So that's why I'm like, my friends, I can count maybe on two hands, maybe one.
Let me also say this while we're doing this video. There's plenty of people who claim to be my friend. Those people always are funny to me. Because it's usually the people that you don't really know that well. And that you only know them for maybe a month or two. And they start tagging you and stuff on Facebook. Doing all that. And I'm not really talking about it. I'm just saying a lot of people want to claim your friendship. And they want to claim we're friends. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, they don't even know what a real friend is. Or even how to be one. I think they like the idea. But they don't necessarily know how to, what's the right word I'm trying to say?
Execute being a friend.
Execute being a friend. Or, just...
So where was I? So I said what? Friends by association. Friend of a friend who happens to be a friend. There's just so many different layers to this. And I really started to think a lot about what I'm defining as my friend. Right? And like people are like, you hear the cliche stuff. A friend is supposed to be there in the hard times. A friend is supposed to do this. A friend is supposed to do that. Now here's my issue.
Who tells me this late?
My issue with that is I can be your best friend. But you
Which
could
is
be
what we are.
You could be in a situation, right? And you might need me. But I may not even have my phone near me. I may not even be in a situation where I can check my phone, right?
Right.
And I might be missing out on a moment when you needed me, but that doesn't make me any less of a friend.
Can I
go ahead
say something to that? Because I feel like that's a lot of people understand. As people, we have our own lives. I think we have to recognize that somebody might not be there when you need them at that very moment because they have their own life too. And I think a lot of times we forget that. Like as people, as people, we forget that. Like there's a lot of times where I called you, and sometimes you call me. Like we're both busy now. We both have our own separate lives, and I feel like sometimes you do get your feelings when you really need to talk to somebody, and you want to talk to your friend, and they're not available or whatever the case may be. But I also understand that you have your own life.
Well, one of the things I appreciate about us in that situation is
But I'll never bring that up either.
Right.
I'll never be like,
but the way we do
I caught you and but people do that.
Right.
People really. I'm not trying to cut you off, but
no, I know. But the way we do it is like, oh well, look who finally decided to pick up. Right? And it's like, oh, well, anyway, I was trying to call you because da 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 da.
Right.
But like we make it more fun than we do like.
But I've had people, that claim to be my friend or whatever, that if you're not there when they need you, I called you and I did this. But let me tell you something. Those are usually the same fucking people who, when you call them, they don't answer you. It's always funny to me. And they'll be like, well, I was doing this. And it's like, okay. Like,
well,
I
think when I think of a good friend, I think about somebody who has had experiences with me, who has been there in situations that we didn't know we were going to run into or whatever. A friendship is not based upon how many times you answer my call. It's not based upon what you can do for me.
True.
The friendship is based on what we built when we built trust and what we've been through, right? Mm-hmm. And like, for example, Tempest, I didn't mean to put her out there, but I just did, is one of my friends. And every time I can go months without speaking to her. And when I call her, it's like we never went without speaking.
That's what I like. Okay, so for instance, me and you always can get on the phone when we finally do get on the phone and have a decent conversation. It doesn't matter what happened in between. But as in, like, it's just the same thing with you. Okay, Brittany, my old dance partner, Brittany. Mm-hmm. We haven't talked in years. I mean, and I tell you years, but me and Brittany went to preschool together. We went through elementary together, middle school together. I think we kind of lost touch high school, but we still ended up together, remember, because we ended up being dance partners, all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't see each other after we graduated. And then, so recently, after I went through a purge of friends, I literally was just like, I don't need these extra people. It's hard to keep up with too many people anyway. I got rid of some friends that claimed to be my best friend, claimed to be this, claimed to be that, claimed to be my friend, And then next thing you know, she just kind of popped up out of the blue. And she was like, hey, I'm back home. Where are you? And I'm like, well, I'm not back home. But to put that out in a nutshell, it was almost like we didn't skip a beat either when we seen each other. It was just like, girl, like, we both sitting there just laughing and giggling. We talk about old times. Mm-hmm. The same thing me and you talk about. We talk about old times. And it's different because it's like, those type of friendships are the ones I don't ever want to miss. Or the ones I don't ever want to fuck up. Or the ones I don't care what happened between us. I don't care if we ever had a falling out. I don't care. At the end of the day, those moments meant a lot to me because I'll never get those laughs with anyone else. I'll never get those moments that we had that nobody else knows about. Or the fact that with me and this one right here, we don't even have to say something half the time. We just make a face at each other and we know. Like, and I know y'all all have friends like that. Because his mama, rest her soul, would always be like, y'all are just goofy. She was like, y'all is just so damn silly and goofy. Oh my gosh, y'all laughing at
and don't get it twisted. We have had blow-ups in situations. Yeah. But what's so funny, when you think about it, they're so dumb now. But my favorite was the MySpace one. It was where we were okay. So we had a falling out. I don't know what it was. It was ridiculous. I had just went off to school that year. And the reason why I said MySpace was because we were doing what people call vague booking now. We were doing that on MySpace. So like we were posting random songs and random things, and Malika was weak. She was so weak about it. She was like, "Oh wow, I see what's going on here." But no, we were. It was called. It was MySpace because that's what
people
we
did
had.
on MySpace.
Yeah, and so we were vague booking before vague booking was a real thing. So like we were just.
I don't remember this.
I remember because it was just the worst situation ever.
I don't remember this. I really don't remember this.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It was
stupid.
It was stupid.
Clearly, it was
we
stupid.
got mad about. It was something really dumb.
Malika always had to be the middleman.
And she was like, "Well, I'm here to tell y'all, you know,
y'all both stupid. Y'all need to shut up and talk." Speaking of which, she will see Malika at some point. You really will, but you know.
But yeah, so it's like, so we don't get it twisted. Nothing is ever perfect, is what I'm saying. And everybody's gonna have their falling outs. But how do you bounce back? How are you resilient? How do you come back from something that could be frivolous or could be very, very serious? But like that's a whole part of being like in some sort of friendship or relationship with someone, is that you're going to go through things that are going to be uncomfortable. Yes. But that's a moment of growth. And that's a moment where you really need to step in and lean into it and learn from it, because it'll help inform you the next time, right? When you're in a situation like that again, you know how to better deal with it because you've been through it. And so I encourage anyone who is trying to have a strong friendship to really just allow that space, that safe space for someone to be angry with you. And then to work through that and figure out what made them angry and then tell them why it bothers you. And then the two of you come together and figure out how to make that better.
And also, let me just say, piggybacking on what you just said, because a lot of times when you actually break those things down, or what made you mad, or what, a lot of times it's usually not even the other person. Like when you actually break down the root of what it was that pissed you off or upset you, or it could have been another outside party throwing salt into that wound. Mm-hmm. And you realize that a lot in life. People who are jealous of y'all's friendship, people who want the friendship that y'all have, people who are just, because there's something about when you meet somebody or when you become friends with somebody and there's just that instant bond. To me, those are your best friends. An instant bond that you didn't have to work hard to have, or whatever the case may be. You know. So those are usually your best friends. But also what I say is, also be aware of the people who claim your friendship when you feel like they ain't did nothing to claim it. Because I feel like in my life, I've had a lot of people who be like, my best friend, and claim that I'm their best friend. And I'm like, what? Like, do you know me? Like, do you know anything about, like, and I think it's cool that you feel like we should be best friends, because I feel like that's why you would claim it anyway. You feel like I'm a good friend, or vice versa, whatever. Or we are good friends, but my thing is, some people who claim that, I don't really think they know what a best friend is, or, but hey, who am I? You know what I'm saying?
And I think too, it's really hard, like when you're a friend to someone and like you see other people trying to claim that person. And like, it's kind of like what you were saying, like it's hard to like people that you know are not reciprocating the same you know.
This is my thing. Because if you're going to claim my friend, motherfucker, you better be a good friend. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Like, what I've also learned since growing up and with these younger people and just not trying to call nobody out, point no fingers. I've learned that a lot of people don't know what a real friend is. Like, a real friend's supposed to be there for you. Now, granted, just like we just said that whole conversation about I might not be right there at that moment because I have my own life. I have my own things going on. I have my own problems.
But they show up when they need to.
But they show up when they need to. And at the end of the day, I feel like some people don't really know what a real friendship is. A real friendship to me is just someone who is there for you, point blank and period. They might not be always there when you need them, but they always on time.
Oh Lord, you about to make me sing the hymn.
Don't do it.
He may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. And I also feel like it's okay to have disagreements. I feel like it's okay.
It's actually healthy.
Yeah, I feel like...
Because if you agreed on everything, it'd be boring.
Yeah, be a boring-ass friendship. But I also feel like communication is important in any friendship, relationship. If you can't communicate with that person, why are you even friends with them? If I feel like I can't talk to you and actually have a civil conversation, or I can't tell you, well, I don't like this so-and-so. I don't like this Dr. Pepper. I don't like that you do this. I just used Dr. Pepper King because it was here. But, you know what I'm saying? If you can't talk to that person, and if you do talk to that person, and you feel like everything you said went out one ear and out the other.
Well, if you talk to that person and they don't talk back, like that can don't talk back, that's a problem.
Is they act like they don't care?
So whenever you go talk to that person, if you see that Dr. Pepper can standing there, you need to let that go.
Or if that person does this, when you say, well, this is this is what's bothering me, and they say, well, you did this, blah, 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 and I didn't have anything to do with that. And they just throw everything back on you. Leave that friend alone.
Now.
Because they can't even admit to their own problem.
I've been in a situation like that before. And it's a slippery slope. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm going to say that is because, like, if you say something, you tell them your problems, and then they come back and they're like, well, I da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sometimes, I forget what they call it, but some people, when they feel like they're being cornered or pushed into a corner, they feel like they have to fight their way back out. Mm-hmm. And so you have to sometimes, and this is where I'm getting to in my life. This is where I'm like, this is a totally different me. I'm starting to understand that every case is so different, right? And like, I try to evaluate, and I think this comes with old age. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am because black don't crack. But what I will tell you is I've been around, and I have learned, and it actually makes people mad because they think I'm patronizing or being facetious. But like, I tend to go, what is the problem? And the reason why I'm saying that in a calm way is because, number one, the doctor told me don't run your blood pressure up. Because you're going to kill yourself. True. And so I've learned to just stay calm. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, and like they'll go off on me, right? Whoever. Mm-hmm. But what you have to learn is that they could really be hurt. Mm-hmm. Or they could be upset. And you got to try to figure out what the balance is in that.
And before we go any further in that too, I want to make sure I make this very clear. In friendships, relationship, you set the tone for your friendship, your relationship with someone. So, if you don't set those boundaries at the beginning, if you feel like you need to have boundaries, if you don't set those boundaries at the beginning, you allow people to do whatever you want them to do with you, to do to you. Mm-hmm. So, like, if Susan, we're going to keep going with Dr. Pepper because he's a good trusty one. So if Dr. Pepper disrespects you and you say, and you just let it go and you don't do nothing about it,
that's a problem.
That's a problem. And to be honest with you, you got to blame yourself. You got to take some blame in that because you let Dr. Pepper disrespect you and you didn't say nothing. So guess what Dr. Pepper's going to do? He going to come back and he going to talk shit to you again. Because he feel like he got away with it the first time. And I'm not saying that's what all people do. I'm just saying. You know. So also understand that even if you think, well, Dr. Pepper did this. Dr. Pepper did this to me. Why did he do this? Why did he talk to me like, well, because you let him. Understand that you got to take some of that blame. That's what I've learned to do too. I've learned to not only put it on that person, also take blame for my part in the situation.
That shows like how far you've come.
Yeah, because
that's hard for people to do.
Yeah, and because I feel like as people, we don't check ourselves. Like, okay, so if you was rude to somebody sometime and you walk away, you be like, damn, I was really rude to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back and apologize, or I'm just gonna have to talk to them later on when I'm calmed down, because right now I'm just mad and I'm gonna say whatever else, you know. But I think a lot of people don't check themselves. Yeah, check yourself. Just like you check other people, check yourself. Because at the moment you might not have thought about how you said it or how you did something. But sometimes I know with me, I'm one of them people that if I'm arguing with you, I'm going to say the one thing that's going to get you out of my face and to leave me alone, because I don't like to argue. So I'm just going to say something to hurt your feelings so you leave me alone. That's me. I know that about myself. So I try not to do that anymore. But I'm just saying, that's just the type of person, I don't like to argue. I really don't like to argue. Because for one, I get mad, I get upset, I got anger problems, and I don't need to do all that. You know? So just know that you set the boundaries for whatever friendship, relationship that you have, and wherever you accept, people will try to run over you, child. People will do it. If you let them, they will do it.
And so I mean, for me, it's just all in a nutshell. Friendship is what we choose. It's not just it's not just something we do, it's a way of being. So if you want to experience a friendship, make sure that you're 100% in it.
Because it's not always peaches and cream. It's not always, oh my God, I bought you some ice cream. Oh my God, I bought you ice cream too. You know, like, it's not always simple and easy. Sometimes it's complex. Sometimes that friends don't need you to give them 80 while they only giving 20. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, you're not going to be able to get in touch with that friend because they got their own life, their own problems. And that's another thing, too, I feel like.
And sometimes you're not going to always agree with what they choose for their life.
That's true. Sometimes you're not going to always like their choices. Sometimes you're not going to understand why they made certain decisions. You're not going to always agree with everything they do. You're just not. That's just the reality of the situation. You're not always going to agree.
And one more thing, please stop inserting your thoughts and opinions on their choices without being invited to give your opinions.
Oh, so stop giving unsolicited advice.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something. I'm a Taurus, and if I didn't ask you for your opinion, I don't want it. If I didn't come out and say, and honestly, let me be honest with y'all, the person not asking for their opinion is the person sitting right next to me. So if I did not ask you for your opinion, more than likely, I don't want it.
And like one of the things, like if I feel like there's something that I do want to say to DeAndre or whoever, I literally, what do I say? I have thoughts if you would like to hear them. So I give him the opportunity to tell me yes or no. He cares to hear what I want to say. If he says yes, he has opened himself up to hear what my thoughts are.
Can I be honest with you? There's not many people's opinions that I care for. If I'm being completely honest. No. and it's the truth. I mean, it's not nothing to be hateful towards anybody or whatever. Because I do a lot of thinking, whether people realize it or not. I do a lot of thinking. So, a lot of times I've already worked it out in my head. Like, my decisions, my thoughts, what I'm going to do. Then there's been a couple of times I made some decisions that was real questionable. Yes, there has been. But, a lot of times I think things out before I even go with them or whatever the case may be. So, it's crazy to me when people give unsolicited advice because a lot of times, I ain't gonna lie to you, if I really did not ask your opinion, I usually don't want it. I usually don't. Now, if I ask your opinion, and I want to hear it, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. Just like, I don't know if you ever asked my opinion on something.
I did. A couple times.
And
I would literally just be, because the way I ask it is so weird. I don't say, what's your opinion? I go, what do you think?
Right. And I'm a little bit honest. I don't really have that much of a filter.
And I know that when I ask, what do you think? I need to brace myself.
No.
For whatever may come out.
No.
DeAndre has absolutely no filter.
I don't. It's so bad, too, in my job. Because oh my God. It's bad.
So, I'm here to tell y'all, if you're going to write something in these comments, if you don't want to know the real answer, don't ask it. Because DeAndre, I will repeat, has absolutely no filter.
And you know what? One thing I want to start working on, by the way, is I don't like people to call me stupid. So I'm trying to get out of calling people stupid or saying something is stupid. Because I feel like I shouldn't say that. I feel
DeAndre has no filter.
I've got a little bit of a filter now. I learned a little bit. I did. Now, okay, I'll put it this way. If I feel very strongly about something, I'm going to give it to you as authentic as I can. I try not to make it come across harsh. I try not to. Are you doing your face? No, that's something I worked on. I try not to make it come across harsh. Or I try to say something plainly so people don't take it as, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by plainly is I mean with no emotion behind it. Well, calm and like, you know, well, this is what I feel about it. I feel like that's not a good decision. I try to say it because more than likely, so back in the day, I used to be like, that's stupid. Don't fucking do that. You know, like that's dumb. Why the fuck would you do that? That's dumb. You know what I'm saying? So I try to say it with the most respect as I can these days. But back in the day, it probably came out real wrong. I ain't gonna lie. It probably came out real bad.
My last statement is DeAndre has no filter.
No filter. I really don't have no filter.
But we're still friends.
But you know what? What's bad though? Please don't ask me my opinion on somebody while they're sitting there. Please don't do that. Do yourself a favor and don't do that.
Don't ask me either.
Don't do that. That's rude
Don't ask
and disrespectful. And I'm just going to assume you're trying to be messy because you know I'm going to tell you with them sitting there, right?
Because the first thing I'm going to do is give you my opinion on you asking me to do that.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to assume that you're trying to be messy too because you know that person is sitting right there. And clearly I probably already made a face about them. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. That's rude. That's just rude. Some of y'all messy anyway.
That's a whole nother episode.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre, I think they get it. I think they get it.
I think they get it.
I think they'll do it. I think they'll do it. I think they'll do the homework. And I think that they'll have more fruitful.
And one more thing. if you are me and you are friends, and you're in a relationship, and you and your partner are going through things, and we're talking about whatever you and your partner are going to, and I'm giving you my opinion on y'all situation based off of what you tell me, and then you decide to use that in your argument of your fight with your partner or your spouse or whatever, let me tell y'all something. I feel like you shouldn't go and tell people your personal problems because honestly, a lot of times when you're telling somebody else, that means you haven't told your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Until you work it out with your partner. Communicate with whoever your partner is. Don't come complaining to me about your man, your woman, whoever, until you actually talk to your partner. Because to be honest with you, that's who you should be talking to anyway. And also too, don't come to me and tell me things and then go to your partner and tell them another thing. And then next thing you know, I'm in the middle of y'all's drama. Because you put me there. You get what I'm saying? So I've learned also to stay out of people's business. But I hate it a lot of times, even with that being said, I didn't necessarily. A lot of the times that I was in somebody's business is because they put me in it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily ask for it. I got dropped into it because I gave my opinion on your situation. And I'm just like, wait a minute. How did I get in your drama? Oh, that's right. You put me in it. You asked my opinion. Then you went back and told your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And then now, oh, DeAndre's included in your drama. Well, I'm only included, bitch, because you invited me. Because you brought me into your situation. And you didn't have to. I thought I was just giving my opinion. And that's what it was, just an opinion. You was just bouncing it off my ears. That's what I thought. Not for you to go back and use it as ammunition. I just want to get it off my chest because I've been in that type of situation.
I knew it was coming. I was just waiting.
I've been in that type of situation where somebody was like, well, so-and-so does this, so-and-so does that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now, I was friends with both of these people, by the way.
Now, for me, I don't put nobody in my personal business. So I don't even be talking about stuff that just fall apart sometimes. Sometimes I just deal with it. Because, you know, what you got to do is, you got to learn sometimes that you got to deal with it.
Right.
It is your stuff.
It's your shit.
Okay. That's the word
I
was looking for.
Yeah.
But it is yours. It's yours. And so you got to deal with it.
That's my thing. I feel like any friendship, relationship is between those two people. And granted, let me also say, it took me a while to realize that as well, too. Well, if I have a problem with whoever the person is, I know now to definitely come to that person and say, look here, you did this, and I didn't like that. Or vice versa, that person come to me and say, well, DeAndre, you did this, and I didn't like that. Like, for instance, we can go ahead and throw it out there, because Kevin brings this up all the time, okay? There was this one time that I was going through a lot in life, and I left, and I didn't tell him where I was going, or something like that. Or I wasn't honest about it.
Well, this is what
I think I lied about it, right?
Well, what happened? Yeah, so what happened was, let me tell you how good of a disappearing act you pulled. It was fantastic. It was very strategic for the time. But what DeAndre did was, we had literally hung out that night before.
Did we?
We did. Because we were at the old pizza place. We hung out that night and we ate there. And I drove you home and I was like, all right, well, I'll get up with you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Right? And you said, okay. Mm-hmm. And then this nigga left. Well, and yes, I said that word, but I used an A. And that doesn't make it good. And I will go ahead and do a disclaimer and let you know that
The N-word would not be tolerated on this channel.
Exactly. But he did.
Okay, so I felt bad about that. Did we ever talk about that?
We did.
Okay.
That was the whole. That was
one of our main issues, right? One of our main issues, I feel like.
Yeah. But that came after I graduated college. Yeah. We had one before I graduated college. We had one when I was at college, but it was so frivolous and ridiculous that we don't even remember it. So
I really don't remember that one. I remember,
but I do remember this one, and I remember I was more upset. The thing is, I would have supported him no matter what he chose to do. But as your friend, as someone who you've been hanging out with like every day.
It was a hard body. I literally came back probably 2 months later.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, I just would have liked to have known, because as a friend, I need to prepare myself, right? I need to know, like, okay, DeAndre's not going to be right around the corner. Mm-hmm. You know, he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know.
I mean, it was a lot. And I think also it was me not dealing with the issues that I had or the things that I had going on that I didn't know. As in just needing something different, generational curses, feeling like I had needed to go somewhere else in order to make it better. So, generational curse. Okay. So, I would say my birth father is a person that I know that that's what he does. He jumps around. Oh, I don't like it here no more. I'm going here. I don't like it here no more. I'm going here. I don't like it no more. I'm going here. Oh, everything's not working right. I'm going here. I had to break that.
And you know what was so interesting? And I knew that at the time you weren't ready to receive it. But like I said something similar to that. I was saying to you that a lot of our problems, and this is going on a whole nother tangent.
Mm-hmm. But it is, but it needs to be, this special needs to be had.
Another problem that people have is, I don't like where I'm at.
In life.
So I'm going to just leave. I'm going to leave and do this and do that and do this, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you're not fixing anything because you're taking those same problems that you have with you. Mm-hmm. So you're putting a Band-Aid on it that's going to get ripped off eventually. It doesn't help, especially if you're carrying it with you.
There you go.
I was that person. I'm like, well, I'm going to move to New York and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do my company here. Forget this and forget that. Guess where I've had the most success? At home, where I was born and raised. I have had the most success in my own backyard. Mm-hmm. And that is bizarre because I thought that would fix my problems to leave, but that's not what fixed my problems. What fixed my problems was I dealt with the problems.
Mm-hmm. And let me also say this. Sometimes we see on TV, social media, we see that this person went here and they did this, and this person did this, and they did this here. And we think, because that's what we've seen, that's what it is. That's how we perceive it to be. Oh, well, so-and-so moved to New York because I seen it in the movie, and she went to New York, and she did her thing, and she worked hard, and she did everything. Now she's a star. She's everywhere. That is not the way life always works out. Clearly, we all know by now that things don't happen how the movies portray them.
Well, do you know what else made it more accessible? COVID. COVID changed the entire game and did exactly what I knew before COVID happened. And what it did was it evened the playing field for everyone. Mm-hmm. So you could work from wherever you are at any place in the world because everything was online. And now they've made it to where they've married the old way of doing things with the new way that was created during COVID. So I know people who are like, oh, yes, I teach at um, Arizona State University, but they live in Wilmington. They're teaching virtually.
Mm-hmm. See, there's so many subjects we done hopped on.
We gonna do another one. Y'all, this is just part one.
But so with the whole teaching virtually and all those type of different things, I don't know how I feel about the new way of teaching or virtual teaching or virtual learning. And
no. I mean, I agree, but what the point I was just making was that
it's opened up new things.
I
love that
now,
idea for jobs.
Like, look at me. I choreographed a television series. I live in Wilmington. I choreographed a Lifetime movie. I live in Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My company is now going to be an international touring dance company. And I strongly believe that's because the playing field was even. Mm-hmm. You know, people were able to see me. They had more access to the work that I was doing because it was.
I also feel like you can't discredit yourself in that because.
Oh no! I'm not.
I mean, I didn't think you was, but I was just making sure I didn't know.
No. I mean, I had already started laying groundwork before COVID. But what I was just saying was that.
And also, I want to say that you also I think as people too, what you were saying about. I didn't get to move to New York, all that type of stuff, mm-hmm. and how I also think too, people think things are easy, mm-hmm. and things are always easy. Like you had to work hard to get to the point you are now, mm-hmm. choreographing for movies and stuff like that. You put in your work and your time and your effort, and success definitely in something that you love doesn't happen overnight. Mm-mm. I think that's a hard pill for people to swallow.
No, I mean, after I graduated college, which was I ain't telling you that because but
you know what? I think people shouldn't be okay with saying their age at this point in their life.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of my age,
I know you
but what I'm doing is I'm protecting myself on. I'm not giving too much of my information out.
Try 21.
Mm-hmm. So I've been out of school for.
A year.
14 years.
Now you didn't have to say all that.
But I'm just saying, I've been out for 14 years and it took 12 to finally break into my stuff in this way, on this platform. So, yes, and that was years and years of work. And so the question is, do you have the drive to sustain and to have longevity in the field that you're choosing to be in? And if you do, you have to be ready to do all of the hard labor and work to get there. And you have to be used to hearing no. You got to get a few no's before you can get that yes.
Mm-hmm. I think that discourages people too, with hearing no. No. Because what you don't realize about a lot of these celebrities and stuff, and you hear them saying more now than they ever have, I've got tons of no's. Mm-hmm. I've got tons of auditions I didn't make, tons of jobs I missed out on, or tons of jobs I went to someone else because they wanted that other person for the role, not me, or whatever. Whatever the case. And I feel like in a hard life is a hard thing to accept. Definitely when you're passionate about what you're doing. Definitely mm-hmm. when you really want to win. You really want this. Not just for the credit. Not just for it's because you love it. You love doing what you're doing. I'm like Beyonce. I'm sensitive about my shit. I'm sensitive about my work. And I feel like anybody who puts their heart and soul into their work, they're gonna be sensitive about it. Mm-hmm. What you mean it's not good enough? Are you kidding? This is my blood, sweat, and tears.
Well, the other piece of it is you have to remember that all art is based on opinion and what people think of it. So, but I think that it sounds like
I thought there was a rat in the kitchen.
that was Michael.
Hey, Mike.
I want to be with my family.
Well, I can tell you right now, there definitely ain't no damn rat in here. Look, do I live here?
Okay, well.
There ain't no rat in here, baby.
There ain't no rats in here. He know no damn rats in here. The rats is outside on the corner somewhere.
Well, I think that this was a great conversation, but I hear you yawning.
Yes.
My eyes are doing this thing where they're trying to like,
My eyes
they're trying to part like this,
I'm looking Chinese Japanese.
but they doing like this. Look at them. Look at my eye.
It is too.
Yes. So I'm going to let DeAndre close us out, and we
You
will
can wait for 5 seconds.
and look, and we will return with a part 2 the next time he is here, and I will make sure I am wearing a fabulous ensemble.
Okay. If he don't wear an ensemble, I'm going to put on one too.
Yes, we'll actually what we'll do is we'll figure out a color scheme.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yes, and we'll make sure that we have the flowers to match the color.
No, Michael, I know you ain't over there eating no more cake.
What's he eating now?
Is
Oh
he
my
eating
God.
cake?
See, this is what bothers me about this child. He don't eat healthy. Anyway, DeAndre, take us on out, child.
Okay, so anyways, guys, we thank y'all. We enjoy y'all. We appreciate y'all. And just know that you are enough and you are special and you can do whatever you want to do. If you put your mind to it and put in the work.
Yes.
We're gonna go. It's been a long day. We hope
Baby,
you guys,
when I close these eyes
baby.
and I pull them colors up over me,
It's gonna be awesome.
and see that one back there eating all that damn sugar, better get ready to go to bed too. Cause
Right.
he need to go on to sleep.
Because he's gonna be
'Cause
up all
That sugar gonna
night.
have him wired.
Well, what he doing right now is what he gonna be doing when everybody's sleeping.
Ooh, y'all heard me. See, I don't be trying to use profanity. I promise you, I don't be trying to use profanity.
All right, y'all. Love y'all. Peace, love, and light.
Ooh, ooh.